That isn't the tale of Caitlin Clark and the turmoil around her on this specific day. As we begin our discussion of this trending subject, the viewership of Caitlin Clark exceeded 1.8 million. But there's a ton more disappointment ahead, so I hope Kat Engelbert is prepared for that. 461,000 people watched the first game of the Las Vegas Anonymous Faces vs. Seattle Shitbirds game on ESPN. Remember the faces that are anonymous now. Have you looked at the WNBA ratings? The viewership dropped from 1.8 million to just 161,000 following Caitlin Clark's elimination. That is a free fall, not just a drop. I know what you're thinking. How can one player have that much of an effect? Let's examine the reasons why. In the absence of its new superstar, the WNBA is in serious difficulty. Oh my. Yes, indeed, give the girl a break from cooking. She is a savage. Assist her. She really is a two-edged sword. She was slicing people left and right, cutting ass on all sides. Okay, so she can shoot, handle, and most definitely pass. When I consider it that way, I say mad respect. Clark had an incredible debut campaign. In terms of scoring, field goals, three-pointers, assists, steals, and minutes played, she outperformed all rookies. Is that really true? She wasn't merely decent, she was winning the game in every facet. It seems as though she declared, "This is my league now," as she entered the court. When Caitlin Clark gets eliminated from the playoffs in roughly 12 hours, I know that the mainstream media wants us to think that the WNBA is becoming more and more popular. I am aware of ESPN experts such as Monica McDougal. They want us to identify poor dunkers and excellent layup missers. But hold on, it gets wilder still. We are going to demonstrate to you how one player completely changed the league. What, you might be asking, made Caitlin Clark so exceptional that her absence had such a significant negative impact? The response will astound you, I promise. Are you prepared to do this? The excitement surrounding this choice is greatly enhancing the city's economy. According to a recent study, Rachel Wilkerson of WRTV had an impact. We refer to it as the Caitlin Clark effect. Fans and ticket sales are already increasing as a result of the Indiana Fever's predicted one draft choice. Yes, I was taken aback by the cost and the scarcity of the first game tickets when I looked at them. Professor Dr. Michael Hicks of Ball State University predicts that with Clark on the roster, attendance will increase by about 26,000 throughout the course of the season in comparison to the previous one. There will be enthusiasm like that outside of Indianapolis. Their attendance at other games will likewise be impacted. He claims that Caitlin Clark's buzz can generate income for Indianapolis of more than $2.5 million. You've seen her numbers, but have you considered her financial influence? Not only did Caitlin Clark shatter records, but she also broke the bank. And by broke the bank, I mean that she completely defied every financial projection the WNBA had made. To what extent are we discussing here? Now let's go into the figures that will astound you. 1.1 million people watch every game on average throughout the regular season. Listen, other games were a far cry from this one, averaging only 394,000 viewers a game. Thus 1.19 million, as opposed to 394,000 for the remaining WA clubs. Let's start with attendance. The Indiana Fever transformed from an obscure squad to the most sought-after attraction in the city. Currently, they are selling 17,000 tickets on average each game and drawing 1.1 million viewers on average. That is an outright explosion rather than merely a small blip. Can you picture entering an arena that was once only partially occupied and is now completely full? That is the result of the Caitlin Clark effect. And more than 10,000 spectators on average each game. Not a single squad has even attempted that once since 2004. As a result, if we look at this line graph, we can observe the COVID-related decline in 2021 and the subsequent massive surge in 2024. But hold on, it gets wilder still. When WNBA merchandise was hard to come by, do you recall? Those times are long gone. With more than 4 months remaining in the season, the league's online store set a record for single season sales. We are discussing a 7.56% rise in sales. That goes beyond growth. That would be akin to becoming a Fortune 500 firm overnight from a lemonade stand. Data spanning the entire league shows that attendance is up over 50% this year. Indiana has the highest average attendance of any team, 17,035 among them. Furthermore, it's more than just a Fever sensing love. The Caitlin Clark wave is being enjoyed by the whole WNBA. Comparing this year to last, league attendance is up 50%. That is over twice as much. It's as like Clark waved a magic wand and all of a sudden women's basketball became the popular sport to watch. Sales of merchandise are up 450%. I'm going to say that again. Fans claim that merchandise sales for the WNBA have increased by 450%. At this point, you may be wondering, she may be well liked, but does that truly convert into wealth? Yes, it does. According to analysts, Clark is essential to the WNBA's financial stability. She's not just writing things down, she's depositing money into the bank. Sales of stuff, tickets, you name it, it's all getting better because of Clark. Since Caitlin Clark was selected first, they were the poorest team in the WNBA the previous season. They were the most watched team in the league this season, so it made no difference. This is where things become really fascinating, though. Clark's contributions extended beyond the court. She completely altered how people saw her squad. The Indiana Fever became a legitimate playoff contender after being the team that everyone else ignored. Yes, it is correct. An individual player salvaged the entire franchise. Highest scoring total by a point guard in a WNBA season. Most double-doubles in WNBA history by a rookie guard. Highest point total in WNBA history for a rookie. The most assists by a rookie in WNBA history. A rookie in the WNBA record with 2 triple-doubles. First ever triple-double in WNBA history by a rookie. First triple-double in the annals of Fever. The first player to receive both the Rookie and WNBA Player of the Month awards in the same month. The first player in WNBA history to finish a game with 20 points, 15 assists, and 5 rebounds. Oh no, there's another board. She was named the Eastern Conference Player of the Week 3 times and the Rookie of the Month 4 times. She broke the record for assists in a single season. The list is endless. Rookie record for assists in a single season. That makes sense. Rookie record for three-pointers made in a single season. 19 is the single game record for assists. She also developed the feeling that there was more. Oh, wait, record for most double-doubles in a franchise. Three-pointers. A career high 10 assists in a single game. What about the team record for the most career assists in a game, 10 or more? The WNBA player that made 100 three-pointers the quickest. In 34 games, she completed it. Highest number of assists by a rookie in a WNBA All-Star game. She also garnered the highest number of votes from fans, 700,000 of those. Regardless of years in the league, fastest player to start a season with 350 points and 150 assists. And let's discuss her first ever postseason game. In a playoff game, Clark became the only rookie in history to score more than 25 points, pull down more than 5 rebounds, and give out more than 5 assists. I assume that the audience for this kind of sharing is activist, but 15 hours ago, the WNBA released this. Every time she takes the court, she's not just performing admirably, but also creating history. Clark is controlling the match. Where, though, is all the hype? With the arrival of its new superstar, the WNBA had a fantastic chance. However, did they make a mistake in terms of marketing? You might be surprised by the response. The Nike advertisements are nowhere to be found. The Nike advertisements are missing. In the playoff advertisements, where are the Indiana Fever players? Where are all of the fantastic advertising efforts for Caitlin Clark that we have seen? And it has everything to do with sold-out venues and declining television ratings. You would assume that the WNBA would have Caitlin Clark's face plastered on every billboard from coast to coast. But hey, what do you know? Not even a single commercial with her in it was produced. Is that really true? It would be equivalent to keeping a Ferrari in your garage without ever driving it. The WNBA is projected to generate $200 million in revenue by 2024. The NBA is predicted to make $13 billion. For contrast, historically, the WNBA has lost about $10 million every season. You may be asking why they would overlook their biggest celebrity at this point. That, after all, is the crucial query. Or the $200 million issue, if I may, since that is the expected money that the WNBA will bring in. Seems like a lot, does it not? Hold on to your hats, folks, since the NBA alone makes almost $7 billion from television deals. That is a chasm the size of the Grand Canyon, not simply a gap. It will be 2 or 3 weeks before you see Caitlin Clark again. It will be 2 or 3 weeks before Caitlin Clark is the center of attention. And 2 or 3 weeks of total humiliation are ahead of you. Kat Engelbert is going to learn why the WNBA only receives $200 million annually from the NBA. NBA, the networks paid them more than $7 billion annually. They contributed $200 million to the WNBA. Kat Engelbert is going to learn. This is where things get really crazy, though. Critics claim that without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA will have empty arenas and poor postseason viewership. It's as like they had a magic wand to increase attendance and fill seats, but they left it in the changing room. The WNBA has lost almost $10 million annually on average since its founding in 1996. There is a league in the red, literally. Consider it. Already the WNBA is losing roughly $10 million every season. Not chump change, that. And so how are they going to turn things around without their biggest star to light up the TV screens and billboards? You may not have spoken for everyone, but the general perception of people who are new to the WNBA and women's sports is unjust to the women in this league who have established the foundation for Caitlin Clark to enter and now take it to the next level. All I'm stating in these exchanges is that it's as though the WNBA had a golden goose and neglected to provide for it. They had this incredible athlete who could have filled arenas, increased ratings, and drawn in new fans. However, rather than calling out her name from the rooftops, they, well, did very little. Making use of the eyes Caitlin Clark has provided to make other players more visible. The real shame is that the WNBA lost out on a great opportunity with Caitlin Clark. What if depending only on a single superstar wasn't going to be sustainable in the first place? All along, they have been oblivious to a subtle tactic that has the power to change everything. It's likely time to start making an effort to get the other female, who has been leading the group for the past 4 or 5 years, more attention. You may be asking yourself, what might possibly? Preserve the WNBA at this time? Obviously, the goal is not to identify the next Caitlin Clark. Building an entire squad of stars that captivate you on television is the goal. Imagine that when you tune in, you have no idea which player is going to wow you that evening. The WNBA needs to generate enthusiasm like that. Like, it makes sense she's coming. From a marketing perspective, indeed, keep your eyes on her, but avoid putting all your eggs in one basket. Because in the end, we are unable to foretell your future. We're just not able to. Critics claim that the league cannot prosper without a lone superstar the caliber of Clark. However, it's never a smart idea to put all your eggs in one basket, let's face it. What transpires if the athlete has a bad night or worse, is hurt?
It's time for the WNBA to start showing off all of its brilliance and spread the love.
Regarding the rivalry, they both think that it's fantastic for the sport and have quite, different styles of it. Shay included. Consider it. It's not like the NBA only markets LeBron James, is it? They have Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry. The list is endless. That is what has to be done by the WNBA. They must begin establishing rivalries, developing narratives, and elevating each game to the status of an essential event that we will actually contribute to this being the next big thing. However, they have complete control over opening the floodgates in terms of marketing, advertising, and whatever else you deem appropriate. It's like you can create the person you want to create. I believe that now, when you already have one that is naturally attracting attention, is the ideal time to do it. Know what's absurd? The NBA. Has many incredible players, but you might not even be familiar with their names if you're not a devoted fan. That's why a total makeover of the league's marketing is required. These players need to be promoted like the superstars that they are. Imagine if Caitlin Clark, a player that makes you say, I've got to see what she does next, was on every WNBA team. The league needs to develop that level of depth. It's not as simple as one player taking the league's weight in her hands. The idea is to foster a competitive atmosphere where any game has the potential to be the season's best. This is where things get really fascinating. Finding fresh talent isn't the WNBA's only goal going forward. It's also important to develop captivating narratives that entice viewers to return for more. Do you know how viewers of TV series become addicted? With their current season, the WNBA needs to accomplish that. Make each game seem like the upcoming installment of your most cherished TV show. How do you feel about the slight competition between those two? Well done, women's team. It's adding more ice to the game, I guess. Since I'm a little older, I can recall the Cheryl swoops from that day and me bringing them in. Now let's discuss those rivalries. Recall the NBA's Magic vs. Bird era. The WNBA has to promote excitement like that. It becomes more than just a game. When two fantastic players are competing against each other, it becomes an occasion. That's how you maintain audience interest when your biggest star isn't on the field. If you're saying Caitlin, and that's because your game isn't where you expected it to be, then you still have all these amazing players. I mean, Caitlin, I just say put more marketing money and support some of the great players in the WNBA so that you can sustain this and all of the focus.